Yeah. Better days, I pray for better days. Working hard cause I want extra pay. Talk to them seeds, but you must demonstrate. Cause it's your ways that they gon' imitate. Non-violent. Sometimes I wish I would've went to college. Frown proudly. Cause where I'm from, they hate you when you smiling. Your faith should be your gun. You can't leave home without it. The children being grown, cause all the parents acting childish. You show them your reality, I bet they doubt it. You tell them all about your dreams, that's when they out it. Your own blood. Ain't no family no more. They do you badly for show. You try to patch up your soul, Lord knows you on a mission to show him you so submissive. The prayer said in silence, you know the devil can hear him, pay attention. Know the war's within, how much time do you spend? Try to balance your zen, then again, losses is lessons. You tell me you trying to win, we know about saving money. You tell me you trying to spend that blood on it. Sweat, tears, you put that love on it. Your best years was just a dumb moment. You tired of going hungry, can't deal with fake making your life lonely. Your lack of faith that left your soul boning. But you gon' work and you gon' strive, do what it takes to survive. What is truth, what is a lie? You know that war's inside. Some get draped into the fake, they don't know what to decide. Wrong choice, meet your demise, keep that between you and I. You realize, some people you gon' let go, you visualize. The things you need to feed your soul is on the rise. They not gon' wanna let you go, but it's alright. It's cool to bury what's gon' grow. Went from wrong to the right and to the dark to the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. Gotta hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. Wrong to the right and to the dark from the light. It was a hell of a fight. You give it all your might. You just hold on tight and you stay strong and precise. You fight the war that's inside, cause it might change your life. I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me. Yeah, I ain't the person that I used to be. So what I do today ain't things that you used to see. Stay the same, no, things change usually. Some folk I may know might get reintroduced to me.
Don't be stressing on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. Just keep going and keep your faith, so you can win this race. This race called life, yeah, yeah. This race called life. This race called life, yeah, yeah. Race called life. Yeah, 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 yeah. I'm grinding 'cause I know that I'm gon' get it. I just gotta have vision, keep faith and be humble. Have some patience with it. I've been A1 since day one, been always on my job. I never been a fake, never had to steal and rob. Cause I do good business, I'm too good with it. And even though I'm on this road, I'm still daddy to my children. You know I do good with them, and don't like being missing. But I hate when my bills are thicker and my pockets get thinner. But I can't stress up on the dumb shit, cause God is gonna make a way. I keep going and keep my faith in my pace, so I can win this race. Win this race called life. This race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life. This race called life. This race called life, yeah. Race called life. I'm just trying to win this race called life, yeah, yeah, yeah. I keep on running in this race called life, yeah,
These are not just speakers. These are thinkers, forged in fire. Warriors of words stepping into destiny. Welcome to the Coliseum of arguments, where logic clashes with conviction and ideas spill like blood in the sand. 16 titans, 16 minds, one path to immortality. They come seeking truth, they fight for redemption, they burn for revenge. Featuring the intellectual elite of the Titans Debate League. Every round a new war, every word a new weapon. Every titan ready to fall or rise in glory. This is not debate, this is combat. Step into the Coliseum of arguments. Only the brave speak here. Are you not entertained?
Welcome, family, live from the Coliseum of Arguments. Tonight we have two heavyweights step into the ring to settle once and for all the argument of being an American in the conflict of being black. So the topic is being American in the conflict of being black. In the right corner, the Black Powerhouse, the Argument League champion, the man who brings all the pressure, the position, the track record of shutting panels down. Suave, B.O.S, the boss.
Yeah, man, it's the boy Suave, man. I just want to say Black Power. Shout out to both hosts, man. Shout out to the judges. Shout out to my opponent, man. Black Power. I want to first off give an honor to my mother and my father and their parents who created them. They create me. Shout out to the AOI. Shout out to the Argument League. Shout out to Snapping Off. And let's get it. It's gonna be a good one.
And in the opposite corner, the high energy, the God of light himself, the God, I'm sorry, not the God of light, the prophet of light himself, the fire starter, the verbal wrecking ball, the man who comes in swinging every time, King Naga.
What's good, people? This your boy King Naga NWO, represent Naga World Artists, Naga over everything, you heard me? Shout out to all the platforms out there doing your thing. You know what I'm saying? Me and my opponent, we cool, you dig, but once we step in that ring, it's all fisticuffs, we the ops for about 2 hours, you know what I'm saying? Check us out on Naga 9 Studios, Naga Nexus on Facebook.
Today, people, our topic is, does being American conflict with being black? Again, the topic is, does being American conflict with being black? I'm gonna yield the floor. We starting off with Suave, B.O.S.
Brothers, go ahead and you already shouted out your peoples and gave the shout outs. What I'm going to actually do before we get started, let me pull my camera up so everybody can see me. I'm going to go ahead and bring the rules back up so everybody is on the same page as to the rules of engagement. I did play these rules at the face-off, but just so that way we're all on the same page again before we get started. I've learned that this is just something that I have to do to avoid confusion later on. So let's get into it.
All right, warriors. Listen up. Clash of the Titans official debate format. Rule number 1, order of speaking. The affirmative, the side advocating for the resolution, always presents first. Rule number 2, opening statements. Each debater delivers a 3-minute opening address. Rule number 3, argument rounds. There are 2 rounds per participant. Round 1, presentation of their primary case. Round 2, rebuttal of the opponent's arguments and or further development of their own position. Each round lasts 12 minutes. Rule number 4, turn order. The debater who speaks first will also close second in the rebuttal rounds, Q&A period, and final summations. Rule number 5, cross-examination. Each participant has 10 minutes to interrogate their opponent. This time belongs to the questioner. Pauses or hesitations are counted against their allotted time. If progress stalls, the moderator may intervene only to keep the exchange moving, not to address the judges or the audience. Rule number 6, closing statements. Following Q&A, each debater is granted 3 minutes for a final summation of their case. May the odds be forever in your favor.
Okay, gentlemen, any questions about the rules or the format before we get started?
Nah, I feel pretty confident in understanding it.
I understand it. You know what I'm saying? Just tell a ref to be watching because he might have to throw in the towel when this fight get ugly.
Understood. I hope you as good as debating as you are as talking trash. Let's get it.
Let's give these 2 gentlemen a round of applause for stepping into the Coliseum of arguments. Only the brave speak here. And let's get into it. Let me remove this down. Who took the affirmative again?
Suave, boss.
I know that. I just wanted you guys to say it for the record. So, Suave, you will be going first. Let me remove this.
All right, I just need to know if my screen is changing when I present full screen, because I usually have 2 screens, but now I'm working with one.
Your screen is showing right now. What I'm going to do is changing as well. So, yeah, I can see it. It went from your family photo to a picture of...
Yeah, I meant to show this in the beginning, man. Shout out to my mom and my father, man.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
All right, I'm good.
Hold on, let me get your time clock pulled up.
Is there an alert, like a 5-minute, 3-minute, 1-minute alert or something?
Yeah, I do a 6-minute. There's 12-minute rounds, so I do one at 6 minutes, which is the halfway mark, and then I do one around 2 minutes. Sometimes it might not be exact, but I always let you know exactly how much time you have left. So if I say it at 150, I'll be like, you have 1 minute and 50 seconds left. Sometimes I'm a couple seconds late, but yeah, I'm on it like that. So you will get a 6-minute warning and a 2-minute warning. And I'm setting 2 clocks here just to be crazy stuff has happened. I had Google freeze on me one time. So I'm going to do it on my tablet as well. Actually, I'm just going to do it on my tablet. Set timer for 3 minutes. What the hell? Why was that a problem? My apologies, gentlemen. And while I'm doing this, let me go ahead and run one more ad before we get into this.
In the arena of ideas, words are weapons. Confidence is your armor, and every Titan needs their gear. From the Titans Debate League comes a movement born from energy, faith, and power. Custom debater tees, spiritual wear, and PVO gear guaranteed to uplift your spirit and elevate your mindset. This isn't just fashion, it's identity, it's purpose, it's power. Join the movement, step into the arena. Shop now at ColiseumOfArguments.com and wear what Titans believe in.
And we are back. I have the timer set for 3 minutes. Your screen is sharing. This is the opening or your introduction. I will give you a 1-minute warning on this, and time starts when you start, Suave.
Okay, let me go on the presentation mode and then we can get it, man. Get it in, man. Hit that like button, share it if you got a platform. Let's do this for real. All right, we in the building. I'm good. Let's go. This is Suave versus King Naga. Does being American conflict with being black? I say yes. He says no. And so I would like to go into what does it mean to be American? Being American means holding U.S. citizenship or residency and being part of a diverse national identity. It is often associated with a commitment to shared ideas like liberty, equality, and opportunity. Though its meaning is continuously debated and evolved due to the country's diverse population, history, and ongoing struggles for inclusion. Ultimately, what it means to be an American is not based on one single race, religion, or culture, but of a combination of legal status, shared values, and individual experiences. An American is a citizen of a national or national of the United States. As far as rights, a U.S. citizenship grants specific legal rights and privileges, such as the right to vote, as established by law. And ideas, a key aspect is a commitment to founding ideas like life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, the diversity of the U.S. is a diverse nation, and being American encompasses many cultures, races, ethnicities, and religions. There's no single American culture. Individual identity. What it means to be American is also shaped by individual experience and the freedom to be who you want to be. Shared values beyond legal status. It involves a shared commitment to values like freedom, independence, and opportunity. And so now I would like to go into black. The term black person is a racial and social classification used primarily for people with dark skin pigmentation, most commonly those of sub-Saharan African descent. The concept of black is a social construct that varies by society and over time rather than a precise biological category. Ancestry and geography. The term typically refers to people who origins in the black racial groups of Africa, but can also include certain groups in Oceania and Southeast Asia, such as indigenous Australians and Malaysians. Social identity. In Western countries, particularly the United States, black is an important social and political identity that reflects shared historical experiences of systematic racism and common culture. The term gained prominence during the civil rights era as an empowering word to signify global solidarity among people of the African diaspora. Not all people identified as black have dark skin. The classification is also based on phenotypical characteristics like facial features and hair texture, or social rules regarding ancestry. The black population is diverse, including people from various national and ethnic backgrounds.
30 seconds.
Okay, and conflict. A serious disagreement or argument, typically a protracted one, and be incompatible or at variance and clash, and that's where I'm at. I am a black American, and I see a conflict with that. Is the example of Charlie Kirk's death. As an American, I should care. As a black person, I have a conflict with caring due to our relationship with America. So I will go into my presentation next round. Shout out to our opponent, the like button, Black Power.
And that is time. That is time. Let me get this reset for you. And do you have a screen to share, King Naga?
You know I do.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. You know what I'm saying?
And let's give Suave Boss a round of applause.
Yeah, shout out to Suave Boss for that opening round.
Good job. His first time debating on this platform. Both of you first time actually debating on this platform. You guys are going to get rounds of applause after every round. Let's get it.
All right, let me go ahead and present. Let me see. All right, my opponent just made a mistake calling himself Black American, which shows that being black does not conflict with being American. Does American conflict with being black? I say no, Suave Boss, because like yourself just admitted, you are Black American. By King Naga NWO, you can see where you can hit me with that cash up at, you know what I'm saying? All right, let's define what American is. I'm going to define that for y'all. American is a noun. An American Indian of North America or South America, a native or inhabitant of North America or South America. We are native inhabitants of North and South America. A native or inhabitant of the U.S., a citizen. That's what we are by definition. American as an adjective, of or relating to America, American people of or relating to the U.S. or its possessions or original territory. And you see, Even the possessions of America are American. So even if my opponent tries to bring the slave narrative where we were owned and possessed by Americans, that makes us American. Okay, we are American by birth. Native. Native is an adjective. Synonyms of native are inborn or innate. Native talents belonging to a particular place by birth, like a native New Yorker. And conversely, me myself, I am a native New Orleanian. Both New York and New Orleans are American cities. So by default, me being native New Orleanian, I am also American. Okay, now he defined for y'all what it meant to be American, and that is actually law. We are American by law as well, according to the 14th Amendment, passed by Senate on June 8, 1866, and ratified 2 years later on July 9, 1868. The 14th Amendment granted its citizens to granted citizenship to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. We all on this panel are born in the United States, therefore we are all American, including, guess what? Informally enslaved people, and provided all citizens with equal protection under the laws, extending the provisions of the Bill of Rights to the states. And this is from Senate.org or .gov. You know what I'm saying? For the people watching, you can follow along. My sources will be in the chat box at the bottom of each slide, and I will yield the rest of my time in the introduction, and it's going to be brutal.
You had 26 seconds left, and you yield the rest of your time.
Well, I cook for 26 seconds without sharing.
14 now. Go ahead. Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, man, our ancestors put bone and blood in the soil over here in America to be American and have land and freedom in America, and I honor those sacrifices. That's why I am American.
That's time. That's time. I don't like this on this tablet because my screensaver keeps coming up. So I'm going to go back to bringing up a little tab and pulling it in the corner. I have to figure out how I can get the timer on the screen so everybody at home can see it as well as you gentlemen, the duration of each round. I I'm only familiar with how to do one screen share at a time, but I'm going to figure it out. Okay, so next, round one. Let me get the 12-minute timer set over here. Suave, are you ready?
Black Power.
And time starts when you start.
Let me see if I can bring a counter up on mine. You usually be able to bring a counter up.
For real, on the screen?
Yeah, like the PowerPoint, when you in presentation mode, it'll throw a timer up there to let you know how long.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be nice. I don't know how it works when I want to pause it for you or things like that, but
understood. Well, no, it's cool. Come on, let's get it. We just gonna fly.
Oh yeah, I got it over here on this other window though. I'm ready for you. Time starts when you start, sir.
All right, for sure. Yeah, as I said, I am a Black American, and that's why I know that there's a conflict, right? Why? Because America owes my people, Black people, period. Now, reparations, advocacies see reparations as a moral imperative and necessary step for healing the nation's racial wounds. The goal is to repair the damage and empower African Americans socially, economically, politically, and culturally, enabling the reconstruction of institutions destroyed by governmental actions. Which governments? The United States. Now, as an American, I would be like, yo, let's get over this. You know what I'm saying? But as a Black person, I never will. Historical injustices. Proponents argue that the United States was built on the theft of Black lives, labor, and futures through slavery and subsequent discriminatory policies like Jim Crow laws, housing discrimination, and mass incarceration. The government sanctioned these practices and reneged on promises like the post-Civil War 40 acres and the mule land grants, which could have provided a path to economic self-sufficiency and autonomy. America owes land to Black people. The 40 acres and the mule reparation from the source right here. In 1865, General Sherman's Special Field Order number 15 provided for 40 acres, plots, and land to be distributed to some formerly enslaved families. The mule was later added. Okay, the reversal, the promise was rescinded by President Andrew Johnson, who returned the confiscated land to former slave slave owners after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated. This reversal is widely seen as the first major broken promise of reparations, leading to a sense of betrayal and a significant missed opportunity for Black families to build economic independence. Systematic racism, from slavery's legacy of forced labor and unpaid work to the Jim Crow era and beyond, systematic racism have been a constant factor for the dispossession of Black land. Discriminatory policies. Federal policies like the Homestead Act of 1862 gave land to white families but often excluded Black people. Black land laws between 1865 and 1919, Black Americans amassed millions of acres, but 97% has been lost due to discriminatory practice and theft. I have a conflict as a Black American with that. Modern consequences. The wealth gap. The historical and ongoing loss of land is primary reason for the vast racial wealth gap in the United States. Check that out. The unfulfilled promise of the 40 acres and a mule remain a central point in a modern movement for reparations to address the historical injustices and economic disparities faced by Black Americans. Yes, you can be Black and be American. America owes land to Black people. Reparations for slavery. Hold on. Did it just do the same thing? Did the gap need to be addressed through reparations? Okay, bet. Yes. Historical injustice. Proponents argue that the unpaid labor, enslaved people, and subsequent discriminatory practices like Jim Crow had created lasting racial wealth gaps that need to be addressed through reparations. That's a conflict in as a Black American. Economic calculations. Economists have developed various models to estimate this debt. Some calculations focus on unpaid wages from slavery, suggesting figures in the trillions when compounded with interest. And as an American, I'm like, we can't afford trillions of dollars for nothing. But as a Black person, I'm like, so what? We want our money. Now, other models include compensation for wealth disparities resulting from housing discrimination, lack of business opportunities, and other systematic issues. This is American having a conflict with Black people. I don't know why my opponent doesn't see that. Supporters point to other instances where the U.S. government has paid reparations to certain groups, such as Japanese Americans interned during World War II as unproceeded for addressing past wrongs. In 2016, a report by the United Nations affiliated group stated that the U.S. owes reparations to African Americans. I agree. Arguments against reparations. A primary concern is that the immense cost. As an American, I care about the cost. I don't want America to go into debt, with some estimates placing the total well over what the U.S. government is currently spending on COVID. But as a Black person, I need my bread. There are significant difficulties in determining who should be eligible for reparations. That's a conflict as being a Black American. Some argue that current generations should not be held responsible. As an American, I kind of agree with that. But as a Black person, it doesn't matter. You are living on the wealth of what was done to my ancestors. America owes education to Black people. And the source here for Science Direct. Slavery and suppression of education. During slavery, it was illegal to teach enslaved people. The post-emancipation struggles after the Civil War, formerly enslaved people fought to create schools and colleges, but faced immense opposition and lack of resources. The legacy of Jim Crow laws, and other forms of systematic discrimination perpetrated and segregated and underfunded educational system for Black people that need to be fixed. Despite progress, Black people, students often face challenges in the educational system, including discipline disparities, under-resourced schools, and ongoing achievement gap. The ability to afford higher education is often linked to inherited wealth, which whites and Americans got off of our people. Addressing historical harm. The concept of reparations is also framed as a way to acknowledge and address the lingering harm caused by centuries of systematic discrimination. And as a Black American, both sides of that see a conflict there. Key component of these reparations propose to focus on education equality, invest in historical Black colleges, increasing funding for programs, and revising unfair disciplinary practices. America owes Black people sovereignty. The sovereign citizen movement in the United States, like the Anti-Defamation League, the idea that the U.S. government owes Black American sovereignty is an argument within the broader reparations movement. The concept of sovereignty is the context typically refers to the restoration of independence, autonomy, and self-determination for Black communities as a form of redress for centuries of systematic injustice done by America. America owes Black people health care. Pay attention. While Black people, okay, those are my sources. Historical discrimination from slavery, where Black bodies were commodified and often treated by veterinarians, whether they're physicians, to this
6 minutes.
Got you, bet. To the exclusion of black doctors and patients from medical associations and hospitals, the medical system has a long history of discriminatory practices. Okay, ongoing disparity. Black Americans total today face significant health disparities. Racial bias. Studies show that many healthcare workers harbor racial biases such as underestimating black patients' pain levels or using biased metrics in clinical algorithms. Okay. Also, decades of discriminatory policies in housing, education, and employment have prevented black families from building generational wealth. This wealth gap means black adults are far more likely to be saddled with medical debt. 50%, 56% of black adults owe money for medical bills compared to 37% of whites. Systematic inequity. Advocates argue that health inequities and inequities are ingrained in a system designed to perpetrate harm, that policy choices at federal, state, and local levels have contributed to worse health outcomes for people of color. Proponents of the healthcare reparations argue that much like the U.S., government has provided compensation to other groups, they should be able to do it to us. Now, for the Center of Disease Controls, black women face disproportionately high mortality rates, particularly during childbirth, with the rate being nearly 3.5 times higher than that for white women. I have a conflict with that. In 2023, the maternal mortality rate for black women was 50.3% per 100,000 lives compared to the 18.6. And this is factors like systematic racism, limited access to quality health care, and insurance coverage gaps contribute to these disparities. I have a problem with that. And also the racism and discrimination we face cause mental health issues. Racism is a significant cause of poor mental health outcomes and mental health disparities among blacks. Both direct and indirect experience of racial discrimination are linked to increased symptoms of depression and anxiety. Repeated exposure to emotionally painful racist encounters can result in symptoms similar to post-traumatic stress disorder, such as anger, reoccurring thoughts of event, hypervigilance, and insomnia. Okay, the acceptance of social negative beliefs and stereotypes about one's own racial group can lead to low self-esteem. Racism is associated with higher rates of general psychological distress and increased risk of suicidal thoughts. Also, people experience racism may turn to increased alcohol or drug use as a coping mechanism. America owes black people an unbiased history. That's my source. An unbiased history will acknowledge that racial discrimination was not merely individual prejudice, but was embedded in law and government policies, such as the reversal of the 40 acres and the mule promise. Also, a complete history helps counter arguments that current generations are not responsible for past injustices by highlighting the ongoing legacy and systematic benefits inherited by some groups at the expense of others. Okay, and this NBC News, mothers shares textbook describing African slaves as workers. So now a clear history would stop stuff like this from happening. Why are we being given books that say we weren't slaves, we migrated here to work for America? I have a problem with that. That is a conflict. This is my source right here, chronicling 10 race massacres in America. And I'm gonna go down the Red Summer of 1919, Roseville, Florida, 1923, Atlanta, Georgia, 1906, Colfax, Louisiana, 1873, Wilmington, North Carolina, 1898, Elaine, Arkansas, 1919, East St. Louis, Illinois, 1917, Washington, D.C., 1919, Memphis, Tennessee, 1866, Clinton, Mississippi, 1875, Chicago, Illinois, 1919. America has a conflict. Being American and being black is a conflict. Do we let these things go, or do we stand on what was done to our people? Now, even the Constitution, as the brother showed at one point in time, it introduces this 3/5.
2 minutes.
Who?
2 minutes.
That required the enslaved people who escaped to another states to be returned to their enslavers, effectively making it a national issue. Real people died behind this stuff. Real people lost resources, and we are affected by it today. Just as an American, the fact that no black people on the money, I have a problem with. The fact that COINTELPRO was meant to sabotage black groups. And I want to go through this right quick. It says, for maximum effectiveness of the counterintelligence program to prevent wasted effort, prevent the coalition of a militant black nationalist group, prevent the rise of a messiah who could unify and electrify the militant black national movement. This is what I need as a black person, and this is what America has a conflict with. Blacks have to cross over when we're talking about art. For many years, the mainstream art and entertainment industry was not always welcoming black artists, requiring them to navigate discriminatory practices. Some artists had to cross over. That's a conflict that I have. All of the hidden black inventions that America will not tell you about, and the list goes on. And like I said, the Charlie Kirk murder. Should I care as an American, or should I not care as a black person? Because Black people are more disproportionately affected by police brutality, facing higher rates of fatal and non-fatal use and force compared to other racial groups, while making about 13% of the U.S. population that account for a larger percentage of those killed by police, and are more likely to experience threat or use of force.
30 seconds.
How many?
30.
Okay, bet. The 22 survey found that the police force was rising of Black, female, and older people, while specific data on non-lethal police violence is limited. Studies show Black people almost are 5 times as likely. So example after example, even just being Black, your black hair, we had to have a Crown Act for. Now that's something you can't even change. So just to come wrap this up, being Black, being American, there's a conflict there. What side do you choose? And what is the answer between what is American and what is Black? Black power. I'm gone.
Amazing job, gentlemen. The decorum is on 10 for both of these gentlemen. Let's give both of these gentlemen a round of applause again. And now we have King Naga stepping up with his first round. My apologies. I know exactly where I'm at. I'm just talking. Yeah, he steps up with his first round. Slides. Let me pull this down.
All right.
Hold on. Let me get the time reset for you here. And time starts when you start, sir. Take your time.
All right. Before we go into this slide right here, I'm got 3 points I want to rebut. First, you admitted that you can be Black and be American, so that the end of the conflict. Reparations are due to American descendants of slaves. They are due to American descendants of slaves. No one else was affected by that. If you weren't affected by that, that 9 times out of mean your black ass wasn't in America. And everything that you mentioned happened to Black Americans in America. Yeah, a lot of that stuff was horrific, but it is American history, you know what I'm saying? And it didn't happen nowhere else. What you mentioned is American history, which we are a huge part of. Now let's go into this presentation. The first generation of enslaved Africans did not have a conceptualization of Africa. They identified with their respective ethnic tribes. The connection to Africa began with their descendants, thus resulting in an ethnogenesis of African American identity and culture. Let's repeat that. The connection to Africa began with their descendants, thus resulting in an ethnogenesis of African American identity and culture. In other words, Black African American identity and culture is native to America in that it was born here just like us. Outside of indigenous American tribes, arguably no group is more American than we are. Our entire Black ethnic identity is homegrown in America. And now we're going to define what ethnogenesis means for those who might not be privy to that word. The process by which a group of people becomes ethnically distinct, which we are. Black Americans, Afro Americans in America. We are ethnically distinct. The formation and development of an ethnic group, which for us happened right here in America. That being said, my opponent has to explain how being American conflicts with being Black when the ethnogenesis or origin of our Black ethnicity is right here on American soil. This makes us just as, if not more, American than the descendants of Europeans. All right. African cultures have significantly influenced American traditions and customs, shaping the diverse identity of the United States. One of the most prominent examples of the influence of African music on American music, particularly in the development of jazz, blues, and gospel music, as well as hip hop. African art and design elements have also been integrated into American art, fashion, and architecture, contributing to the rich cultural tapestry of the country. Language is another area where African influence is evident, with many words and expressions from African languages becoming part of everyday American English. Additionally, African cuisine has made its mark on American food culture with dishes like gumbo, jambalaya, you heard me? Night Ward, shout out New Orleans, and barbecue experiencing widespread popularity. African traditions have also impacted American holidays and celebrations, with the vibrant rhythms and dancing of African festivals being reflected in American carnivals and parades. The significance of these cultural influences cannot be understated, as they have played a crucial role in shaping the customs, traditions, and everyday life of the United States. We are American, my brother. There you see your gumbo, your jambalaya, and your barbecue, and what you see right there, the African traditions that shape the American carnival that is called Mardi Gras. It is a Mardi Gras Indian, Nganga, spiritual herbal healer. This is American. He's a native New Orleanian, just like I am. Okay, African words in English. Okra, from the Igbo word okuru, referring to the slimy but beloved vegetable. Savannah, from Wolof savannah, referring to grasslands or open plains. This is words that you find in everyday use in America by Americans of all ethnic groups. Juke, as in jukebox, from the Gullah Geechee word juke, meaning disorderly or rowdy, which traces back to the Wolof word zoog. Goober, peanut, from the Kibundu or Kikongo word in Guba, brought over by enslaved Africans who cultivated peanuts in the Americas. Banjo, guess what? The American folk music instrument, the banjo, from my Mandinka Banho or Wolof Banza, referring to a string instrument influenced American folk music. Yam, from the Wolof and Fulani word Nyami, meaning to eat. Zombie, from Congo word Nzambi, meaning spirit or deity, later in Haitian voodoo traditions. Boogie, from Wolof, boogie boogie, meaning to dance. These are words that we find in everyday American culture, especially zombie and boogie. Everybody likes to boogie. We all watch zombie movies. Jive, my opponent is jiving you, from Wolof jev, meaning to talk playfully or deceive, now used for lively jazz style dancing or slang for talking nonsense. Tote, to carry, from Kikongo tota, meaning to lift up or carry. These are words in everyday American use. My opponent straight up jiving y'all, saying that being American conflicts with being black. We are as American as banjos are to American folk songs. We touching the whole map, Suave boss. How we not American? Who else covers this much of America? The blue portions of the map highlight the districts that black people reside in. That's not saying that we are the majority in these districts, but we absolutely cover the entire map. And this is from www.census.gov. So we are spread across America because we are
6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Gotcha. Origin and history of American. American is a noun from the 1570s. Originally one of the Aboriginal peoples discovered in the Western Hemisphere by Europeans from modern Latin Americanus from America. The original sense is now Native Americans. The sense of resident of North America of European, originally British descent, is from 1765. We're going to go ahead and do the time constraints. We've mixed with and fought alongside the original Americans before there was a United States of America. So how are we not American? Crispus Attucks, a sailor of mixed African and indigenous ancestry, died in Boston on March 5th, 1770. It was no United States of America then, after British soldiers fired 2 musket balls into his chest. His death and that of 4 other men at the hands of the 29th Regiment became known as the Boston Massacre. That instantly transformed Attucks from an anonymous sailor into a martyr for a burgeoning revolutionary cause. What revolutionary cause? The American Revolution. Lord Dunmore, British colonial governor of Virginia, infuriated that state's slaveholding class when in 1775 he declared martial law and promised freedom to any enslaved person who abandoned his owner and joined the British forces. Owners encouraged their enslaved workers to resist the temptation to ruin yourselves and promised pardons to those who returned within 10 days of their flight. Still, though, the promise of freedom inspired an estimated 20,000 enslaved men to flee and enlist with the British forces. One of George Washington's own enslaved workers, Henry Washington, escaped Mount Vernon to join Dunmore's Ethiopian regiment, a group of 300 escaped black men who were the first to respond to the proclamation. So, in response, General James Mitchell Vernon, an attorney and one of Washington's most trusted officers, became the most ardent supporter of forming a black regiment in Rhode Island. One of his most radical proposals to Washington was to counter the shortfall of white recruits with enslaved men, along with free black and Indian men. It is imagined that a battalion of Negroes can easily be raised there, Varner wrote to Washington, who forwarded the proposal without tacit approval or disapproval to the Rhode Island General Assembly, where it was given the go-ahead. The Slave Enlistment Act, passed in February 1778, stipulated that any enslaved person accepted to the first Rhode Island be immediately discharged from the service of his master or mistress and be absolutely free in America, as though he had never been encumbered with any kind of servitude or slavery. This is American history. How does being American conflict with being black when black Americans fought on both sides of the American Revolution for the promise of freedom and land in America? We fought for and earned the right to be American before there was a United States of America. That cannot be overlooked. Some of the British colonial Marines settled in Trinidad. That's still the America, Suave Boss. Approximately 4,000 enslaved men, women, and children, mostly from the Chesapeake, escaped from plantations and farms to the British during the War of 1812 to take their freedom. About 200 of these formerly enslaved men joined the British military as troops and were trained at Tangier Island, where they were formed into the Colonial Corps of Marines, also known as Colonial Marines. The Colonial Marines, equipped with useful knowledge of the geography of the lands and water around the Chesapeake, participated in several notable British raids on the Chesapeake, including the British March on Washington. Yes, we were there with the British burning down Washington, D.C. and the Battle of Yorktown. At
A
the
minute 45. A minute 45.
Great Britain agreed to resettle the colonial Marines and their families in Nova Scotia and Trinidad. Between 1815 and 1821, nearly 700 formerly enslaved African Americans were resettled in 6 company villages in Trinidad at the instruction of Lord Bathurst, the British Secretary of War. Yeah, I'm coming. And the colonies' land in the Parima district in the south of Trinidad was distributed to the former soldiers and their families. Although slavery was still legal in Trinidad, the Americans were under the protection of British Superintendent Robert Mitchell. As you can see, even those who left and went to Trinidad called themselves American, which derives from American. Within a decade of their arrival, the settlers even petitioned to Superintendent Mitchell for resources to establish their own schools and churches, laying the foundation for what would become the Spiritual Baptist denomination in Trinidad. Many of the descendants of these settlers still live in Trinidad, some still in the original towns formed in 1815. The descendant communities refer to themselves as Americans, a term derived from American. You see that? There's no conflict. That recognizes and honors both the community's historical and cultural connections to the United States and the legacy of their self-emancipating ancestors.
20 seconds.
All right, from Trinidad to Liberia, Suave Boss, we identified ourselves as American through words like Americo and American. As you can see, that's a black man. Identified himself as American. As you can see, the Liberian national flag in the background is a play on the American national flag.
Time. Give both of these gentlemen a round of applause for their first round. We're going to be moving into the second round now. And anybody who's on Suave Boss's channel, what you're going to have to do is get over here to Titans Debate League if you want to finish this debate. What I'm going to do is drop the link to the debate in Suave's chat so that way you can click it now. The argument league. Let me find your page really fast. Here we go. Hold on. Let me make sure all the screens are down. Okay, yeah. I don't want anybody showing anything while the clock isn't running for him. Okay, the link to the debate is in Suave's chat. If you are on Suave's YouTube, you can go ahead and click that link and get on over here. We are about to end the stream on Suave's channel. Right now, I see we have yeah, it's jumping right now. Again, that link is in the chat in Suave's chat. Get on over here to at Titans Debate League. Ooh, I almost hit the end stream. Wrong one. Let me just remove Suave's argument.